A very good afternoon. I welcome you all to the first ever webinar edition of Agon Mun organization. We take pride in organizing this webinar, which counts as our first ever online event. I can see that a lot of people are joining us today, and we are extremely excited to go ahead. To introduce myself, I am Arpita Chaudhary, the co-founder of Agon Mun. I am presently pursuing English Honours from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, Delhi University. Now, not wasting much time, I would welcome our founder, Mr. Shivam Bansal, who is a law learner at Symbiosis Law School, Noida. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Arpita, for such a warm introduction. Before starting, I just want to introduce Agon Mun organization with the audience as it is our first ever webinar. We started the organization in this year in the month of January only. Agon is a group of individuals who have come together to develop the idea of MUN and youth parliaments among the budding students. Our aim is to make the students opinionated and to increase the MUN culture developing in the country. We will not be only focusing on MUNs but also on youth parliaments and debate competitions. Once the COVID situation will become better, our team is focusing to conduct the events on regular basis, or I can say in a year. We will be majorly focusing on the school level as it is the time for the students to hone their debating skills. And they are future leaders. And this does not mean that Agon will not inviting the college students in their conferences. We also would be aiming at ensuring that students from lower stratas of the society become well acquainted with the legal and political mechanisms of the country. Ever since the pandemic and lockdown, we have conducted the events like quiz competitions and a series of posts where you can find everything about MUN. Also, we post regular global fun facts and also conduct a discussion on every Sunday on Instagram on the prevailing issues. Now, it is my immense pleasure to welcome our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Bhushan Jha, sir. Welcome, sir.
Hello, namaste to all. I hope you all are healthy and safe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
With this, I welcome you all to this amazing webinar. For a brief introduction, we will go back to Arpita. Thank you. Arpita, you can go ahead with the webinar.
Thank you, Shivam. Now, I would like to introduce our eminent speaker of the day, Mr. Bhushan Jha. Bhushan Jha is the founder of Chanakya Policy Foundation, an organization engaged in youth engagement and democratizing India's rural institutions. He's also a public speaker, he's also a public scholar specializing in international political economy, European public policy, and public and non-profit management at Willy Brandt School of Public Policy. He is also associated with many youth-based organizations with the shared vision of serving the society. He is currently based in Germany, but the major focus of his work and research areas are centered around India. And for the knowledge of the audience, I would like to say that Mani sir is much more than this. And I still remember those days when Mani sir used to visit our school and used to train us about MUNs and how to lead the world and how to understand the issues of the world. And just a small bit of information for the audience that he was also invited to the swearing-in ceremony of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2019. We are highly obliged to have you, sir. And before we start with this webinar, I have a small announcement for the audience. I would request all of you to please type in your questions in the chat box, and our speaker will be addressing them in the Q&A session. Sir, now you can go ahead.
Thank you, Arpita, for the warm welcome. And I see that you guys are doing quite well in different fields. And this is what we are going to cover today. I was so pleased that you have thought of this theme. We have a lot of webinars these days, but this is quite an interesting as well as important topic to discuss. और मुझे गर्व है कि आप लोगों ने इस विषय को चुना. मैं हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों स्विच करूंगा क्योंकि मुझे लगता है हमारा ऑडियंस भी इस तरीके का है. तो और जैसा कि हम सब लोग अभी डिस्कस ही कर रहे हैं कि कैसे अभी न्यू नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी पे आया है जो रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस या हमारे लोकल लैंग्वेजेस को प्रमोट करता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि हमें बाइलिंगुअल रखना चाहिए, तो कोशिश करेंगे कि इसको बाइलिंगुअल रखें। और अगर किसी को भी कोई डाउट है तो हमारे इस चैट बॉक्स में, जैसा अर्पिता ने कहा, लिख सकते हैं और हम लोग उसको आंसर कर सकते हैं। तो again, once again, thank you for the warm welcome and with the introduction. I have just started, and this is just I've just done some small work. I'm just one of you, and let's see. We'll do this together. We plan this journey together, and as young people of this great country, we work together and take the country to new heights. Yeah. So the flow is that I have made a brief presentation, and then I will like to present some things, and then we'll discuss. And after that, we may have some ideation, and then the question answer session, as Arpita said. Okay, so first, as you can see on the screen, there is many important words, but two important words that are very close to my heart is young leaders. And when I say young leaders, don't go by the age, but by the kind of work and by the kind of vision that you have. Another two important thing that is visible on the screen right now is mindset and skill set. We see that both the things are very important, as we'll see in the course of presentation. और हम लोग देखेंगे कि इन दोनों का प्रेजेंट होना क्यों जरूरी है आज के टाइम में, और किस तरह की माइंडसेट होनी भी चाहिए और किस तरह की स्किल सेट होनी चाहिए. I will share from my personal experience, from my organizational experience of working in India's villages and with our organization, and then from some international experience as well, which I have fortunately in the last couple of months. Okay, so let's start with a brief overview of today's session. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So this is going to be the brief overview, as we see that there will be a brief introduction. Then we'll go on, okay, what is a leader, who is a leader, the importance of vision, then building ties of leadership, the general theme of whatever we face in while working in organizations or while working with people, that I want you to change versus I am willing to change, the concept of mindset versus skill set, which is more important, the concept of risk, that why risk is important, especially in youth leadership. Then one more important aspect is individual interest versus social interest, and then we'll conclude the session with a Q&A. Okay, so before I begin the actual presentation, I will like you to visit. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so let's play a game. Let's start this with a brief, it will take just 2 minutes. Go to menti.com. All those who have joined us, go to menti.com and then type 811433 in the code, and then answer the question. So I just thought that we can make an interactive form of cloud. And then if I can share my screen, you can see the results. Yeah, exactly. I think we had some technical error, and this is just one example of what challenges that we face. So, and we deal with these kind of challenges on a daily basis. So as young people, uh, we are aware of these challenges, and I apologize for this brief technical error. So now let me share the screen and see the results. Okay, this Menti is very interactive, and we'll see that what all results we have from the our audience. So the question was, what is the first few things? What are the first few things that comes to your mind when you hear leadership and youth leadership? So wow, we have so many results. So as we see, there are role model, there is aggressive approach, there is long-term vision, then we have responsibility, we have public speaker, we have adaptability, and we have inspiration, focused. So we have a lot of results that we see. Yeah, it's still people are, I think, still entering on this. Okay, so the point is, as you can see, we have a diverse area of uh, words that themes that people have entered, and that's why we see that young leadership or leadership is quite dynamic. It can result from one approach to another approach based on the people and their different perspectives. Okay, so okay, people are still entering, I guess. चलिए 1 मिनट और देखते हैं and then we'll go to the next slide. Okay. Okay, so now you can see a cloud of maybe if inspiration and role model are the two most, I think, used words in this, and that's what brings me to the next slide, in fact. And the next slide will start with the introduction. Like I will just give my introduction briefly, and then we'll come to the organizational portfolio. I did my basic education from my village in Madhubani, Bihar. Then I did my senior secondary education from Patna, Bihar. Then I did bachelor's in law from Amity Law School, and then I'm currently doing master's in public policy at Willy Brandt School of Public Policy. Parallelly, I have been involved in many organizations. I founded Chanakya Policy Foundation in 2016. Then I'm also the vice president of Raindrops Foundation. Then I'm also chief of compliance at the Social Artisans Foundation of Indigenous Entrepreneurs, which we have started in the last 10 months in Germany. And I also advise many organizations. I'm engaged with many youth-based organizations. I advise them on regular basis for when they face some challenges in young leadership and things like that. So basically what we can see is, while I was indulged in my education, I have been parallelly working in different organizations, through our different initiatives, and basically in youth engagement. And through that, we try to address some of the basic problems that we face. And we have, if I focus on Chanakya Policy Foundation, then we have been indulged in youth engagement to involve young people into public policy making, and to basically democratize and decentralize India's policy-making institutions, the ruler-based institutions. So as we saw in the Menti cloud, that inspiration was the best, most used word. So let's go on to the next slide, and we'll see why. I saw this, I read this somewhere, that who is a leader, someone who inspires, and that's why coincidentally we also have inspiration as the most used word. ये हम लोगों ने बिल्कुल भी plan नहीं किया था, but I thought of that what if I have to define who is a leader, then I think someone who inspires is a key definition that I can find, at least from my perspective. Then I find three things which are very important. And from my experience, I personally feel that these things are very important for a young leader or for a leader as well. Uh, you should be attentive. Generally, a person who is called a leader, he sees what others are not able to see, maybe in some challenge. And when we go on the mindset thing, when we go on the skill set thing, we'll see in the course of the session that what kind of things that you should see and which others are not able to see. Then you should be a symbol of integrity. Give people an example. Like, you should be example for your team. You should lead by an example. And then absolute commitment should be there. For example, like, you should be able to put your priorities in a manner that your team gets inspired by your level of seeing, your level of commitment, that you should inspire the best in the people around you. Yeah, with this, can you go to next slide? Yeah. So I wanted to give an example of when we started Chanakya Policy Foundation. So as Arpita also said, as I mentioned, the vision was youth engagement for decentralization and democratization of India's institutions. We have been working in urban space and rural areas as well, uh, to indulge youth into policy making through our young youth parliament models and Gramin Sansad models. And lately, we have been doing a lot of awareness campaign in my home district of Madhubani, in different districts of Uttar Pradesh. And right now we are trying to channelize what we can use what we can use the resources that we have built in the past uh, few years. So what challenges we face right now? What are the challenges that we faced? Because the topic of the discussion today is challenges to young leadership, and I consider myself youth, at least by age also, and by my work and other things as well. I consider myself as a young person. So what are the kind of challenges that I have faced? So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that there are only one challenge that I have faced. And this is not a rhetorical way to put at it. Well, this may be a rhetorical way to put at it, but that's why I put it there, that there are numerous challenges when we go on a journey. And but by the end of this session, you'll know why I just thought of putting this too. And that's why I said that आज का जो हमारा सेशन है उसका जो हमने थीम चुना है, the importance of mindset, like, and skill set, and resetting our mindset and expanding our skill set. And that has been one of the challenge that I faced. Like, if I conclude all my challenges and then I say that what have been if I have to put my challenges into one, then I will say that my mindset and my skill set, or the mindset and skill set of our team, has been on the only challenge. And then it will be reasonable enough when you understand this concept, that why only our mindset and the skill set are limitations, as well as they provide us with immense opportunity as well to work on these things. Yeah, next please. Yeah, so I was looking at can you remove the header from below? Yeah, or footer. Yeah. So if I was looking at the concept of mindset and what is, so there is a famous magazine, Harvard Business Review, and I found a beautiful quote from Harvard Business Review report, that mindset is fundamental to how leaders think, learn, and behave. And that's why I think my concept of mindset is very important when you think of leadership, especially when you think of young leadership who are involved in solving contemporary challenges which we face. uh, because especially when you talk about India, then we have a lot of young people out there, and it's a huge demographic dividend that can be utilized in a positive way. And there are so many young youth organizations which are working to remove some of the challenges. So when I say mindset, I found this comparative analysis by uh, neuro leadership, and they have put it very efficiently. And as you can see in the two images, so first images, one, you can consider problem as a threat. So let's say you have, when you see a problem, you have these questions: what if I'm not good? I could make mistakes. Maybe I don't have the skills. Others may do better than me. So basically what is trying to say is, जब भी आप कोई समस्या आपके सामने आती है तो आप सोचते हैं कि अगर मैं इसके काबिल नहीं हूँ, या मैं मुझसे गलती हो गई, या अगर मेरे पास इसके स्किल्स नहीं हैं, या ऐसा हो सकता है क्या कि कुछ और भी लोग हम मुझसे बेहतर कर सकते हैं। तो ये सब सवाल आपके मन में उभरता है, और इसलिए आप किसी भी समस्या को खतरे की तरह देखते हैं, प्रॉब्लम को थ्रेट की तरह देखते हैं। आपका माइंडसेट अगर जो लीडरशिप के लिए होना चाहिए, आप किसी भी समस्या को चुनौती की तरह लीजिए। दैट ओनली आप उन्हीं सब सवालों को एक अच्छे वे में एड्रेस कर सकते हैं। दैट आई कैन गेट बेटर, आई कैन ऑलवेज इम्प्रूव, a great chance to develop skills. An year ago, I wouldn't have done this well. That कोई भी समस्या जब आपके पास होती है, तो आप उसको एक बेहतर तरीके से सोच सकते हैं, बेहतर तरीके से प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, खुद के लिए भी और अपने टीम के लिए भी. And that's what we have been trying to do as a youth-based organization. So we have faced numerous challenges, especially in the we have lack of resources. And because we have lack of resources, so that's why we try to work in the limited resources that we have. And sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail, but the time we fail, that is also a learning opportunity. And that's why that mindset will come when you take the problem as a challenge and you try to improve, because that is absolutely it is absolute truth that you can get better in the coming future, and you can always improve. There is no chance that you cannot improve on a daily basis. You can always improve, and then you have all the opportunity to develop your skills. So that's why I see that in especially in young leadership, mindset is very important. And that's why I think when Arpita and Shivam told me that this is the topic, this is the special highlight that they want the challenge to be, I was really excited with the idea that people should focus more on these aspects. We often focus on our challenges, like we have lack of resources, we have lack of networking, we have lack of this. There are multiple challenges, but at the core of it, if our mindset is correct, if our mindset is in the right direction, then we can overcome all these challenges. As there are, if you go on just Google, I didn't include any basic and so much fancy quotes here, because you can just go to Google and see yourself examples and quotes by leaders out there. But the core idea that I'm pitching here is, you should have a mindset of taking any problem as a challenge, and you'll overcome that. Yeah. And then with that, I think we move to the skill set. And skill set is something that I will put secondary to mindset. For me, mindset is always a priority, and then skill set, because skill set is always that you can learn. Skills are something that you can learn, and if you have certain skills, that doesn't guarantee that you will use those skills in a constructive way. As we already know, we have seen multiple examples: people with high skills engaged in terrorism, people with high skills engaged in so many bad and shitty things. But if you have the right mindset, then obviously you will use those skills to in a constructive way to solve the challenges that our society faces today, to maybe succeed on sustainable development goals. You'll work with constructive people, constructive organizations. So that's why a right mindset is needed to use your skill set. Skill set without a right mindset can be a lot destructive. But when I thought of skill set, that's why I first included mindset. So we have a right mindset, and with the right kind of skill set. Let's say, I'm not going into technical details, but you should be engaging, you should be empowering, you should be diverse, you should be like good with networking, you should be constantly like, you should be adaptable and into the new circumstances. Then crisis management should be there, and then most importantly, the ability to learn should be there. So as you see, these are just some of the aspects. So I just could remember two incidents that there was this moot court in the first year of my law school, when I think I was that was 2014. Yeah. So Before that, I had never spoken English uh, for 30 minutes in a row. So that was quite a problem in the in the mood court. And when I tried, although I was like not so good, but definitely I succeeded in giving a 30-minute English speech, or whatever you can say. So the point is that if even if you lack skill, you can improve. And with the improvement, you will also have, if you have the right mindset, then you will be able to utilize all those skills in a better way. And now let's say that with the right kind of mindset that we have in all our team, I was able to use my improved skill set in so many, when I engage myself in discussion with people who are working at a much higher and much institutional level than I am. And there is so much, that's why there is so much to learn from your peer group as well. And that's why I say these technical skill set that you should be engaging, you should be empowering, you should be diverse, and these should be there to listen, to use your skills in a right frame. Uh, and can we go to the next slide? Yeah, and then one thing that I put in the next in the previous overview as well, that individual interest versus social interest is what matters a lot in while you are in a young leadership. So let's say let us put it this way. I think Arpita and Shivam can also resonate with this, that while we are working in a college, we also feel that okay, let's utilize the coming few months for our own professional achievements. Let's do good internships, and there are other options, like to use our organizational base to solve some of the challenges, to reach out to people, to reach out to certain people uh, who are out there, who need young leaders to go and solve their problems. So these are some of the dilemmas that we face. And what I think from my perspective, the people who always think of collective interest, who always think of social interest, and who keep social interest above their individual interest, they are always the one who are able to shine, especially when it comes to leadership. You can always prosper professionally while focusing on professional goals, but when I talk of organizational strength, and when I talk of increasing the strength of your organization, then you have to put collective interest over individual interest, to use your mindset and skill set to reach out to people, to reach out to as many people as you like want to, and to increase your organizational base. So this is very important when it comes to young leadership, especially. Yeah. So while following all the things, all the previous things that I just said, we after I think we are now reaching to 4 years of our foundation, and then we have touched the life of more than, let's say, 18,000 young minds directly. We are not including online and virtual interactions. We have programs in India's urban as well as rural areas, and we have been indulged in capacity building of youth in India's rural parts. For example, let's say we have been working in some of the areas where, while we organize the program, students uh, held the mic for the first time in their life. So that's why we formed the concept of Gramin Sansad, which we are doing in partnership with Raindrops Foundation, which my colleague Chandni is running. Again, with the right mindset and the skill set, they are also doing some wonderful work. But yeah, that's why we have been, the lack of resources that we have, with the lack of funding opportunities that we see in our country. So but even then we have been able to do the kind of work that we wanted to. Obviously we face a lot of challenge, but as I highlighted, with the right kind of mindset and the skill set, we have been able to contribute in nation building with with support to institutions. Right now, we are also supporting institutions in rural parts to decentralize and in their citizen engagement To give an example, while the 2019 general elections was going on, so our team at the local level were engaged in voting awareness. So there were many villages, ऐसे बहुत सारे गांव थे जहां पर लोगों ने वोटिंग को बॉयकॉट किया था। उन्होंने बोर्ड्स लगाए थे कि ऑफिसर अधिकारी यहाँ पे आ नहीं सकते, लेकिन हमारे वॉलंटियर्स गए, हमारे टीम के लोग गए एंड उन्होंने गांव वालों को कन्विंस किया कि चाहे आप किसी भी ऑप्शन का यूज करें, चाहे आप नोटा ही करें, लेकिन डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस में पार्टिसिपेशन बहुत जरूरी है। तो इस तरीके से फर्स्ट स्टेप उन्होंने लोगों को कन्विंस किया कि आप वोटिंग के लिए जरूर जाए, क्योंकि सिटीजन पार्टिसिपेशन इज द मोस्ट इन fundamental to in democracy. Yeah, so this is what we have done, we have been doing in through CPF. We also want to now increase our base. We want to scale it up, and let's see, with the kind of people that I have met in the last 4 years, and with the kind of team that we have, and with obviously the support of people like Arpita and Shivam, we will grow together, we will work together to solve the challenge that we face today. Obviously हम सब लोग अगर साथ जाएंगे तभी समस्याओं का निदान हो सकता है. Okay, so I think this is the basic things that I wanted to cover. Now we can go ahead with some of the questions, and before we take the questions, again, if you can go to menti.com and take some of the last question that we have for today. Yes. So just go to menti.com and type again 811433. You will see a question. Okay, this is the previous one. Yeah. Okay, so this is just what I designs that people who have joined us, आप लोग अपने feedback इस पे दे सकते हैं, and then we can have some questions. And basically, I also wanted to know what Arpita and Shivam have been doing. I see a lot of I see that Arpita has been indulged in a lot of work through her organization, and Shivam also, being a law student. How has been like how have been your journey? आप क्या कर रहे हैं? आपने कैसे शुरुआत किया? आपने कैसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ये चलाने की कोशिश की? क्या क्या सोच के साथ आपने मतलब ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को फाउंड किया? So because I think we all need to learn from each other as well. I'm not I think 50 years old, or that I am an expert in any leadership. This was just whatever I said was from my personal experience, whatever I could uh, remember from while I was working on in organizations directly. These days, I'm indulged in more academics, so I'm just trying to learn more skills, because I think we have the right mindset. We all have the right mindset, but some more skills are needed to strengthen the organization and to scale it up at the last at the like higher level. So that's why I'm more focused on academics. But I will ask, let me start with ladies first. I like the way you put it. So Arpita, what has been your motivation and inspiration, and basically why you thought of starting an organization? I see that you have been involved in so many organizations, and you are a professional dancer as well. So how do you manage
Yes.
this? This can be a motivation to me as well, that your time management and your resource management. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I'm glad that you have been observing my work. And so, first of all, the thing was that, as I've already told in the starting of the webinar, that during the school times we were introduced to MUN by Mani sir only, and then I started participating in the MUNs, and I saw that like we have so much talent. We have so much talent in the society. So many people know so much about international relations. They know so much about the constitution. They know so much about what needs to be changed during this period. So talking about my foundation, I am the founder of Jazbat Foundation, which is primarily working to uplift the underprivileged children of our society. So to just like give a brief about my journey and my inspiration, that is, there's an NGO in Delhi, in East Delhi, to be specific, and these children are basically funded by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So my one of my relative is associated with that NGO, and five children, five students of class 10th wanted to basically they were going to give their board examinations this year. They have already given, and so basically my uncle asked me that why don't you teach them English, because I think obviously English, the language, to learn that language is very important nowadays, we can see. And so therefore he said that there is no teacher, and even in the school faculties are also not that much like they are working hard for these children, and these children come from the tribal backgrounds. So therefore he requested me, and then I said okay, let's go ahead, because I was done with my board exam. So I thought that let's go ahead. And then every weekend I started going there, and I taught them the basic English grammar syllabus that we do in 10th class. And then what I saw was that these children were really talented. Like one boy was there, I would name him because he's our topper from our NGO, and he has got 92.6%. He's Lodru Munda, and he got 92.6% in his board examinations. And he one day I was just training them to like paint something, like we were making bookmarks. This is the time when we have already started with Jazbat, and I just asked my uncle that can I do something like this in collaboration with the NGO. Like I don't want to do it separately, but I will do it in collaboration with this NGO, and I will teach these children like some vocational skills, some art and craft materials, so that they can make some materials out of it. We can identify the talents they are having, and then in this journey, slowly and slowly, we identified these talents in these children. And like right now we are basically funding their academics, and after that we are also working for their admissions into 11 into the 11th standard. So basically we have observed that a lot of people want to help us, and but yes, there's a like other side to it as well. What we have observed is that organizations like don't really want to work for these children who really have talent, but they need that support, they need that financial support, they need that vocational support. And but I don't know, like the organizations are not really working hard for these children, and this was my inspiration that I need to support them. I will not have any sort of my personal intentions behind it, like I want to earn money or something like that. And that was my inspiration, that I want to support these children. I want to tell them how to learn these things, how to use the internet, and how to, because they have to go for the online classes because of this pandemic. So we will teach them that also. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. And also with Agon, I think that MUNs and youth parliaments are very very important for every child, every student. And even my brother, he is also, like, I have pushed him to participate in these MUNs and youth parliament, because I think they are really important, because they build your confidence, they build your knowledge, and they also enable you to think of solutions, like how to solve real life problems, how to solve the societal issues. So I think Agon is has been started with this vision. Now I think I'm done, and yeah.
No, that was so good, and that's why I think when you say youth leadership, we know we need people like you today, as many people like as we can, so that we are able to solve some of the challenges, at least if not all, with the limited resources that we all have. So Shivam, if you are willing to share, then we can have from you as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just want to say that I started Agon with the same vision that the problem I faced in the
Mhm.
school level. As Arpita mentioned earlier, that me and Arpita met you in the school level. I was not introduced to you much in the school level, but yes, I participated the very first youth parliament in Chanakya National Youth Parliament
Yeah.
with you, sir, only. And from there, I got an idea that yes, this is the platform where youth can voice his opinion or her opinion in his or her own words. But after that, I was too much in the academics and studies. I was not indulged into much amusement, and I just want to share that I was also shy and was not much into public speaking. But just after I went to the law college and see that yes, you mentioned the moot courts. I just want to mention that I got selected in the moot court society of my college, and there felt that there is many problems with me that I should go and speak about. Then with this vision only, I approached Arpita because she was having a much experience than me. That yes, we can go ahead with this idea, and I pitched my idea to Arpita, and she said no, we can do this. And then I approached my friends. She approached her friends, and we uh, established an organization which not only aims to conduct the MUNs but also the youth parliaments and debate competitions in a year, because we have seen a lot of MUN societies, MUN organizations which conduct only MUNs in a year, that is for their first edition or second edition, but we are not doing that level of thing. We are conducting on a regular basis. Also this COVID situation has given us such a beautiful opportunity that we can conduct the debate and MUs even in on the online platform also. So yeah, that was my idea, to reach each and every part of India or each and every part of the territory where we can go. Yes.
Okay. That's so great to know, because with this vision, because you have the right vision, and that's what we need, because right vision is required, and then if it is founded on the right fundamentals, then obviously it will go to newer and more, like it will be at a much more higher level one day for sure. So
Yes, sir.
now I think we can proceed with the question and answers if you have
Question
received.
and answer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one of our viewers, Chavi Bansal, say that in today's competitive world, everyone wants to become a leader or outshine each other in this teamwork, and empathy is ignored. What one mindset today's generation follow to create a positive leadership?
Yeah, I think this is a great observation. Thanks, Chavi, for questioning this. But I think that this is very important, because teamwork and empathy is very important. Uh, Everybody is indulged in there is infighting that happens, but that's where you have to put your priorities. You have to put your team together, and I think when you focus on the vision, when people are inspired by the vision that you have, that you want to work on, then you are able to indulge your team into a constructive work as well. Because when people are not behind you as a person, but people are behind you for the vision that you have, so that is more important. And obviously there are vested interest when you are working in an organization, so the leader or whatever, like young people or who is heading the organization, must be aware of those circumstances, those vested interest, and he should be able to overcome those challenges as well. Because practically there are people in your team which may not get enough inspired for the cause, which may look for personal benefits or things like that. So you have to see for those people, and then you have to strengthen your organization like that. Yeah, but if the leader is really empathetic, if the leader is my leader has good vision, and if the mindset is good, then I think these challenges can be overcome. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we have the second question, that is how to satisfy that particular part of the group whose ideas are not being accepted. I think that this question is very important because nowadays every young person wants to like give out their ideas and wants that their ideas should be executed and accepted. So I think I just want to know, I also want to know that how do we deal with this?
Yeah, like I also feel bad when my ideas, like let's say, don't get accepted, and I also want my ideas to get accepted all the time. So I think this is a wrong expectation on as an individual on our part, that our ideas will get accepted all the time. But it is also wrong, maybe while you are working in a team, to reject a person's ideas so all the time. So I think what is the ideal way to look at it is, always have an objective criteria when you listen to any idea. Let's say if you want to organize an program in somewhere with your young people or with people underprivileged kids, so you have certain aims, you have certain objectives to fulfill out of that program. Now you build certain objective criteria, whether to accept some ideas or to reject some ideas. Okay, so that is why it is very important when you are objective enough. That's why, and you make the people realize that this is not because of personal bias, personal ego, or things like that. uh, ये चीजें हो जाती है because these days a lot of even the leadership is a lot of they are indulged into they put personal interest above their organizational or community interest. So that's why the people whose ideas are not rejected also feel that the rejection is more motivated by personal reasons and not by organizational or objective reasons. So I think when the leader or the organization translates these reasons into organizational reasons and not individual or personal reasons, then it is people are generally at a higher acceptance level. So what I will say is, you make some objectives and let let your team give their ideas on the basis of objectives. For example, I'll give you a general idea. There are so we have a team here working in Germany. So on a particular project, so we had this problem of where ideas were not getting accepted or things like that. So I raised this point, and then we came up with a good solution. So we make a cloud of word cloud, what we say, let's say. So the organization is that organization will work for digitalization, sustainability, or things like that. So we make word cloud, and we have certain words, and only those ideas which are matching our goals and visions which are there in the word cloud will be accepted and will be deliberated upon. Rest all will be rejected. So now whenever we have a meeting, that is on the, if it is a virtual meeting, it is on a screen, or if it is physical meeting, it is on the like present board there. So people know that their ideas should be in line with all those things. And then what is accepted and what is not rejected is also based on certain objective things, whether it is feasible or not. So when you do all these things, when you are also transparent enough, and the leadership is also transparent enough, then I think people don't take these things like at heart. But obviously there will be some people who will do, but then you have to deal with
Yes.
uh, them separately.
Yes, sir. There is a from a viewer. There is no question, but there is a statement from Arna Agarwal. Skill set can be developed or changed, but mindset can't be.
Yeah. But this is kind of true, absolutely true. But I agree with Arna. But I think in the long run, mindset can also be improved, if not completely changed. You can change your mindset by indulging yourself into good peer group, into doing things like, let's say, meditation or reading. If you read more, you will understand. Let's say awareness. When the awareness will increase and the self-importance will decrease, mindset will also change. We generally consider
Yes,
ourselves very important, and that's why we don't see that our mindset can't be changed, but it can
I
be changed.
totally agree, sir.
Yeah.
I totally agree, sir.
I
Sir,
see
the
the
next
question.
question is, yeah, by Ashi Sehgal. What are the most important competencies of global leaders today?
Yeah, this is, I think, this is more of an, there can be papers and books written on this, but if we can sum up what we have, I think one thing is, I will say that the vision is always there. And most of the global leaders, be it if you see the business leaders, they have a vision. So let's say someone heading this Google or Microsoft, or someone heading a country has their own set of vision where they want the organization or nation to take. So that is what very important. And if you can see, let's say let's take the example of India. So I will not go into good or bad, but we have a leader, let's say, heading the country, who can inspire the people, who can inspire the citizens of the country, and then who can let's say motivate the citizens to do something, things like that. So that are the things that are very important. uh, you should have a vision. There is vision in most of the global leaders that I see, and all the things, they have a right mindset, they have their own skills, and things like that are very important. So uh, I see there are good reading materials. So if you want to know in detail that what are the most core competencies of global leaders, in fact, there may be most like there are many books which says that how to become a great leader or things like that. But I think what you should do is learn from them and then practice yourself. That is the best thing that you can do. Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, one of our viewer, Khushi Mittal, asks if we have skills but unconfident to express it, how to deal with it.
This is a like problem that I also faced in the beginning of my law school. I was not able to express myself, and that was a problem. But it is also a skill only. Like I will not put it in different. It is the expression, our putting our expression, expressing ourselves is itself a skill. So the best thing is to just practice it. From my personal experience, I will say just keep on expressing, whether you are facing problems. So face problems initially, but continue that practice, and you'll reach the perfection, sure. Because there is no other way that can teach you to just master the art of expression. It will come with practice. It will come with practice only. So you should add that skill to your bucket, and that's what it is important.
Yes.
I think this is a really important question by Shivika Kapoor: how to overcome the fear of public speaking.
Yeah, this is really important. Again, I think we all face this, and there is a phase in everybody's life.
Absolutely,
Uh,
sir. Absolutely.
like, unless that person is trained since their childhood how to indulge in public speaking, people who are not trained since childhood always face this problem of fear of public speaking. But I will again say that indulge in public speaking activities. You'll face difficulty in the beginning, but practice is the only thing to move forward. Practice only will make you achieve a higher level of public speaking skills. One more thing is, what you can do is you can read more about contemporary topics, so that you will feel confident while speaking, while engaging in a conversation. If you're speaking on some political things, you should have the knowledge of speaking. If you have the knowledge, then only you'll be able to speak. So that's why you should be reading more, and then you'll have the information, and then if you practice speaking, then obviously it will help you. Yeah. And I can say that this really works. So if I can from a Maithili speaking to Hindi speaking, and then to English speaking, and now German speaking, if I can do that, then obviously anyone can do that. Yeah.
Right. Sir, one of our viewer also, the Agon heads, how can we improve to be a good leader amongst our age group itself? Like neutrally, like people don't like a leader of their age.
Yeah. So that's a very I think new age problem. Because of again, there is so much self importance that people, like, they have a problem with any leadership which is of their current age. And that's a, like, I think that's pity, because leadership can come from any age. I have met people who are younger than me, and I consider them a great leader because they are working greatly in their fields. So, but the question is, I will put it this way: the onus is not on you to prove yourself as a good leader. The onus is on others to accept the fact that they have a problem. But while you are working together, there may be problems. So that's why I think that's where the question of importance come. So generally, people psychologically people require importance. So you give importance to your peer group. You let them know that they are taking the decisions. You are just trying to build a consensus. You are just one of them, and I think this is a problem of the our all human psychology. So they need importance. So more you make them feel included and inclusive, the less this problem will be. But this is not a question upon the leadership style, but it is a problem generally that we face in our peer group, and it is also because of self-importance. So because
Yes,
we
sir.
give so much more than that, and we give so much importance more than what is required to ourselves, and that's why we face these problems. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a good comment
Okay.
that I can read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the person is saying that caste, communities, religion, sex, language, etc. are the basic challenges in our country, and unfortunately, the pivot of politics and development are structured within these challenges. I think this is a very relevant and contemporary question. So we would like to know your view on this.
Yeah, I think there are fault lines. These are the fault lines that have been there in the society, the caste, religion, the different languages, and we tend to label some of the fault lines that this is good, this is bad. The idea of being a leader is that if you are a leader working for a group of people, let's say if you are working through your organization, you should not indulge in uh, doing service on the basis of any fault line, and that is what further strengthens the fault lines. So that's why it is. I don't consider it good. Maybe people differ, but I think we shouldn't base our work on the basis of these fault lines, because if we are calling them fault lines, that it's then the organization will not be strengthened if we base our whole activity on the basis of some fault line. We can obviously do some of the activities for people who are less privileged and things like that. So, but we should be considerate enough for people belonging to different of whatever mentioned: caste, community, religion, sex, languages. But these are also sensitive things to people generally. So that's why we should be, I think, understanding as a leader, and yeah, and then only we can remove these fault lines. But as of now, we have to accept that this is the reality, that these fault lines are the reality, and we have to be considerate enough while we are working in our organization. And we should not build our, again I will say, we should not build our activities on the basis of these fault lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arpita, we are done with here. You
Okay.
can end.
Yeah, so we are done with our Q&A session. Just like before moving ahead, there was a question by one of our head, Kriti Agarwal, that there's a sort of contention when we see a leader or who is aspiring to be a leader of the same age. So I just want to share a small example. I don't know how relatable is that. So basically, I was participating in an MUN as an international press member, and so we have the heads, right, who will judge us. So the editor in chief, and when he introduced himself, he said that I am a ninth standard boy. So I was like, when I just heard that he was from ninth standard, I just like thought that wow, like at such a young age, this person is able to be an editor in chief. Like he's having those that experience, that qualification to be an editor in chief and to be the judge of that particular event. So like I could have like thought that why he's judging me, or like a lot of people actually thought that some competitors were there and they started questioning that why did you cut my marks, or like what is your judgment criteria and all these things. But I thought that if he has got that opportunity, or if he has qualified through his interview or anything like that the organizers have done, so I think that we should understand that that person is having that talent, right? So he is having that experience that he can move ahead. That is why he has got that position. And I am participating as a just a like a competitor, and he is the judge. So I think age hardly matters. So therefore, I think that young leaders, like we should not like go into such like petty things. We should actually think of the goals, the larger goals that we need to fulfill together. I think that togetherness is very much important. So this is what I had to say, and I would say that thank you so much, Mani sir, for first of all accepting our invitation, and then second of all giving such an insightful and such a relatable session. And now, yeah, you had to say something, sir.
Yeah, no, the I remember one line by the school that I'm studying in right now. So Willy Brandt was the Chancellor of Germany in 70s, and he said one beautiful line which I resonate with, and which is very famous. In fact, it is the tagline of our school as well. So the best way to predict our future. So everybody is going to predict our future, like people go to astrology and things like that. It is not bad, but the best way to predict our future is to create it. So, and that's why young leaders like you are very important when they are directly working with the people on the ground. And that's why I say that there is always a hope even when challenges are there. As you mentioned, that there is different challenges we face from our own peer group and from different people, but we can't just sit idle and keep blabbering about this or things, anything. So the first step is to go forward, move forward, and start working in any particular direction, whatever motivates you. And that's why you should move forward and create those solutions that you want to create. That is what I will like to say, and this is what I would like to conclude with. Thank you.
Very
I
true,
thank
sir.
you again, Arpita and Shivam.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, sir, for joining
Yeah,
us
thank
again.
you, sir.
yeah,
Now, yeah, without wasting much time, I would like to invite our founder, Mr. Shivam Bansal, for the vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, Arpita. On behalf of the whole team of Agon, thank you, sir, for joining us for today for this webinar and taking time for us from busy schedule. As Arpita mentioned earlier, you were there with us from school level and guided us throughout the school, and thank you so much for that. And I would also like to say a big thank to Agon heads, Agon core team, Agon members for making this webinar possible and success.
yeah.
Thank you.
Take care of your health, guys. See you
Yeah,
soon,
thank
maybe.
you.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
has been a
yeah.
Thank you,
pleasure.
sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And yeah, and there's a small announcement for the audience. We have dropped a link in the comment section and in the description of the video on both YouTube and Facebook. So we request you to kindly fill up that feedback form. I would request Shivam to once again post it because I think a lot of questions were coming after that. So yeah, so we will be dropping that link in the comment section on both YouTube and Facebook. So only those who will fill this form will be getting the e-certificates, and we will keep this form open for 24 hours. Yeah. So now one more thing, that is before we just like sign off, I would like to once again thank Mani sir, the entire team of Agon, who have relentlessly worked hard to make this webinar successful. And also, last but not the least, the audience. I am really thankful. We all are thankful to the audience for staying with us throughout this session. Also, we are going to release two of our events, that is the quiz competition and the debate competition, in the span of next 2 months. So all the registered participants will basically receive the information regarding these events through their emails, And those of you all have joined us today in this live session. We request you to kindly follow us on Facebook and Instagram with the name Agon Mun, because we will be uploading everything, every update about these events there. And thank you once again, and please participate in large numbers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.